REDG finished very strong the other day. This is a 5-minute chart here, basically the whole period that this thing even evolved. As you can see, volume spike at 13.3 million in the last 15 minutes, and it shows basically took off and slammed into the previous resistance, which is good. Hopefully the volume will continue on Monday and it should push through this 009. This is the third time it basically attacked it. So this is your blue sky high, which as you can see it's pretty much at. You look at your tape for the last whatever minutes. This is 2 or 3 minutes here left, but as you can see, not much red. A ton of buys coming in. You know, you could look over here and look at a couple things. You get 84 to 91 spread. That was at the end, but I don't really look at this after hours at all for your level 2. It doesn't 100% matter. At least to me, it doesn't. Someone might teach me otherwise, but as of right now, not for me. As far as support, this is where, you know, you get a little nervous about getting in it right where it's at, because this thing could come back down basically to 62-ish. Yeah, 62. So that's a long way down from where you got in. I was watching this heavily on this day here when all of this happened and it was downtrending all day. I got in this early. I got in this, I want to say, down in the 20 area before this thing happened. So I was extremely happy. The Wolf actually made the call, but it wasn't Wolf approved at the time. He just kind of mentioned it as, you know, possible thing to try out. So I got in and boom, it spiked. It was a huge day, huge morning, and it was all over the place. I think on the way down here I ended up getting out. So I sold out somewhere, I think in the 70s. I'd have to check my sale history. And then when it bounced here, I believe I rebought in with a much smaller position, and I caught some of this. And selling on this downtrend was not fun, because it took me a few... the broker I'm using right now will not let me do any kind of market, which I normally don't recommend market, but in a situation where you're buried red like this, sometimes it ends up being a little bit better of a choice. Especially in panic mode. But general rule of thumb, sell into strength, take your profits. You know, on positions like this, they're making so many hundreds of percents over. Sometimes it's hard to really limit your profits low, but you know, generally on like the plays up in the dollar area, I'll look for, you know, getting in 1,000 shares and making, you know, 15 cents. So I could come away with $150, and I'll try to do a bunch of those trades a day. But on plays like this, you know, I might throw $1,000 in it and let this thing try to take off. So anyway, it basically fell, you know, had a ton of selling. And Friday, when I saw the morning, first I saw this gap up, which kind of got me excited and pissed at the same time, because I wasn't in it at this point. I almost pulled the trigger actually right at open, and I'm glad I didn't, because the thing basically tanked back down. You have support there, so I would draw your horizontal line there. You know, some support here, another level of support in the middle here. So you got 3 levels of support. I wouldn't really call this too much support right here, because it barely hit it, but that could also be a level of support. I just don't trust it. So, you know, what ended up happening was I saw this tricking up, and in my head I had 68 in mind. If it broke 68, I was thinking about getting in. I kind of broke it, started tricking up. It wasn't as fast as I wanted it to be, and as you can see, the volume was very low, but low volume and upticking is kind of a good sign. At least for me it is. So I waited until this happened around 74, and yeah, this here too at 74. And I tried to buy in here, and I don't think my order, I think I got in at 799. I think my order triggered it somewhere in this window. So, you know, small order. I think it was I think I got in for $1,000 or $1,250 or whatever was in my one account, which is like my toy account. So I'm happy it's up here. If you look, there's a tremendous amount of green, ton of shares eating up that 90 and 89 area, which is all the previous resistance. So as long as the volume stays up, I think this thing's gonna rip right through 009 into the penny area. And I know some people have even called this thing might end up getting up to 2 cents. So I'm not in this for too long of a term. If it does end up near a penny, I might end up adding a substantial, a substantial take, maybe like 2,500 bucks, which is probably about, I don't know, a fifth of my account that I have in my other account. So I might get in it just for a quick run, maybe 20%, 25%, depending on how strong it looks. But that's how I would play this. I mean, right now, if you're gonna buy it, it looks like it's gonna crack this. I would say try to get in, but I generally try to tell people, if it's going to ricochet off, you might end up wanting to wait for a dip because it might end up finding support in the 73 area. It might end up down at 62. If you could get back in there and then it takes off, all the better, because that's a massive, what is that basically, 50%? Yeah, that's about a 50% run right here. So, you make a lot of money very quick, but just be prepared because you could lose a lot of money very quick, as you can see on some of these drops. If you got in somewhere, in this area, you're screwed, which is right where you are again. So be careful. I'm going to be quick to get out. I got in 79, so if this thing gets anywhere near 80, even if it's down falling hard, I'm probably going to set my sell at 80 and get out, and then maybe re-get in wherever it decides to bounce. So it's my REDG play. Good luck to everybody, right? Thanks.